This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
Don't be so scared of the monster underneath your bed. The monster's in your head. Don't be so scared of the monster underneath your bed. The monster's in your head. It's been keeping you up at night, deciphering what's truth and lies. You can't run from me, you can't hide from me, you can't run from me, 'cause
The following program is rated MALSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, Dr. It doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, yes. It does not matter who the host is. What has always mattered is who the listeners are. Anyways, today is Wednesday, yes, which makes it Whip 'em Out Wednesday, February the 25th of 2026. And we are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM, and then hanging out with our friends and colleagues over there.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
Yes, Radio Big, sarcasm, and all the fun stuff that we get to do. No doubt about that, as we get to do the hang on a lovely Wednesday. So how are you? Did you survive the State of the Union address? And when I mean survive, because, you know, those things always are lengthy in regards of when you're talking. Now, I will tell you, before we get into it today, I do not want you to believe that this is a political show today, because that's what's going to come across, I would imagine, at some segments, because we're going to have to address the State of the Union. Now, if you're new to what we do, we talk about safety in the news and safety. That's kind of how we kind of go about it. On the lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesdays, you know, you get to do what exactly that sounds like. And listen, if you want to interact with the show on a Wednesday or any other day, you go to callinradio.com. For some reason, Wednesdays always seem to be heavy pitcher days, is the way that it's always worked out for some reason. But once you go in, all you do is go to callinradio.com. It gives you a little prompt over there in the screen on what exactly you want to go with. And from that particular point, we kind of address the show and move it in that general direction of going wherever the hell it is that you want to go to. So there you go. That's for starters. And let me talk real quick, because I want to talk about this, because there's been a lot of stuff going on, a lot of stuff that we've been addressing. Yes, we have two separate events that we're talking about. Some people have reached out to me asking that question. The first event, well, I guess it's really the second event. The second event is occurring in the summer. Yeah, Monday, July the 13th, we're doing the Reality Shift Observational Symposium. This one is going to be different than anything else that we've ever done. And why do I say that? It's because we're doing it inside of a movie theater. We're going to have Todd Conklin there talking about human and organizational performance. We'll have Nick Weatherly discussing behavior-based safety, and I will be talking about the Signal Trilogy. We'll also have a movie that we're going to review, or however you want to look at it, which is going to help shift paradigms. Yes, help shift paradigms. So there you go. That's all you have to know. That's what you have to know about what's going on there. July the 13th, which is a Monday. Would love to see you there in good old Orlando. And some people have already reached out going, well, why is it on a Monday? Because that way, if you want to come into Orlando over the weekend, you're there. You're there. Because, listen, let's just be realistic. When people come to Orlando, automatically, if you're not from Orlando, the assumption is you're going to do some level of a theme park. So I figured let's just make it easier and just kind of say, hey, this is what's going on. And the symposium will consist of human and organizational performance. We'll talk about behavior-based safety. We'll talk about signal. We'll talk about the synthesis between the few in regards to that. And some people will go, well, what do you mean? Well, we'll talk about that there. So one more time, all you have to do is go to the QR code or go to safetyfm.com and click on the section that says live events. We'll talk about the other one later on, but some people have been going, hold on, is it the same thing? No, one's in March, one's in July. That's it. So we'll talk about the second one later. That way there's not a lot of confusion on what's going on. With that being said, let's just kind of be realistic for a moment. I have some people waiting over there from Feature Story News. They want to talk to you. They want to address the elephants in the room of what exactly is going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So if you're good with this, I'm sure as shit good with this. And we'll start going down the path real quick in regards of what is going on. Yes, going on inside of the world of news. So if you're good with this, let's get our friends from Feature Story News inside of here and we'll get that rolling.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
From Feature Story News in the UK, I'm John Beaver. US President Donald Trump has delivered the longest State of the Union speech in American history, hailing his turnaround while championing economic and immigration accomplishments. He lamented the recent Supreme Court decision against his tariffs and again warned Iran about obtaining a nuclear weapon. Nick Harper reports from Washington.
It was the longest speech in State of the Union history, almost an hour and 50 minutes, during which time the president focused on largely domestic issues, the economy and immigration, trying to prove to voters, who'll be voting in the midterm elections in November, that he is getting the cost of living under control. Polls suggest, though, that many Americans don't believe his vision at a time when inflation remains stubbornly high and many Americans are struggling to afford rent and groceries. He referenced his loss at the Supreme Court on Friday, calling that an unfortunate and disappointing ruling. It was one of the few times that Democrats cheered and clapped during his speech. And again he warned Iran, saying his preference was diplomacy, that he wanted to make a deal, but said Iran must never be allowed to obtain a nuclear weapon. I'm Nick Harper in Washington.
Meanwhile, Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Israel for a 2-day visit, his first since the war in Gaza. He's expected to discuss defence cooperation and a trade pact with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Neha Punia has more.
This is Prime Minister Narendra Modi's first visit to Israel since 2017, and notably he'll not be travelling to Palestine. Under Prime Minister Modi, Israel-India ties have expanded and defence engagement will be a key focus when he meets Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this time around. Israel is one of India's most important defence partners, and in the aftermath of its military conflict with Pakistan, India is keen to develop an indigenous air defence shield much like Israel's Iron Dome. There's also going to be talk of joint development of laser weapons and long-range standoff missiles. Neha Punia, New Delhi.
Meanwhile, US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff says he will hold another round of talks with the Ukrainian delegation on Thursday. Witkoff will be in Geneva for talks with Iranian officials, but says he will also be meeting with Ukraine's National Security and Defence Council Secretary. William Denslow reports from Kyiv.
Trilateral talks held between US, Russian and Ukrainian officials a week ago failed to break a deadlock on major issues such as territorial control of the Donbass region and security guarantees for Kyiv. While officials said those talks were difficult, the sides say they're committed to continue with negotiations. Steve Witkoff says he'll meet the Ukrainian delegation again this week to explore ways to reach a peace agreement.
From bureaus worldwide, this is FSN.
With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks. Today, the ongoing crisis in parts of Mexico following the killing of Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, also known as El Mencho, the powerful leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel. He was captured by Mexican security forces and then died of injuries he sustained after they acted on a tip from one of his lovers. Chaos has erupted in Jalisco as the cartel has attacked strategic sites and brought terror to the streets. Vanessa Rubio Marquez is a former Mexican senator, now a professor at the London School of Economics.
There is fear, particularly in Jalisco, and people are basically called to remain as much as they can at their homes because of course, there's a reaction in relation to other cartels wanting to gain space and also an intestine fight within the same cartel for the ownership of the leadership of the cartel. Basically, the cartel Jalisco has operations in almost all of Mexico and also, of course, in the U.S. and in other countries in the world. There is a significant amount of arms that flow from the U.S. to Mexico that give heavy gunpower to the cartels.
She makes the point that the violence is contained to a relatively small part of the country, although the resort of Puerto Vallarta is under attack, and foreigners there remain urged to exercise extreme caution. With FSN Spotlight, I'm Simon Marks.
To recap the top stories, US President Donald Trump delivered the longest State of the Union speech in history, hailing his turnaround whilst championing economic and immigration accomplishments. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Israel for a 2-day visit, his first since the war in Gaza. And US Special Envoy Steve Witkoff says he will hold another round of talks with the Ukrainian delegation on Thursday aimed at ending the war with Russia. That's the latest feature story news. John Beaver reporting.
This show is almost as enjoyable as hearing the sound of the toilet flush. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, Internet Service Providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
This isn't a safety manual. It's a transmission. Jay Allen, PhD, host of the Rated R Safety Show and founder of Safety FM, has spent years pulling back the curtain on the systems we work in. and the ones we don't talk about. What started as a fatal crash on the 405 became a search for truth. Through behavior-based safety, human and organizational performance, simulation theory, and everything in between. Safety, in my opinion, is raw, reflective, and real. From burnout to breakthroughs, from the matrix to the moment someone says, "This doesn't feel right." This book doesn't give you answers. It hands you the signal. Safety, in my opinion. Available now, wherever books and audiobooks are found.
And now we interrupt this show with a message about the state of this show. Management of this radio station has determined that the state of this show is stable-ish.
Okay, so welcome to the state of the show, 15 minutes into the hour. So there you go. A lot of stuff going on inside of the world, of course, because, hey, we just came off of the whole thing in regards to the State of the Union address. So, okay, I'm going to go through this. And bear with me because, as always, there are tons of information about this. So if you're ready to take the ride, let's take the ride together as we go down the process. It's not a political show, but there was a State of the Union address last night, and you already heard that it was the longest one in history. So take a listen to this. Trump talks about the border.
After 4 years in which millions and millions of illegal aliens poured across our borders, totally unvetted and unchecked, we now have the strongest and most secure border in American history by far. In the past 9 months, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States. But we will always allow people to come in legally, people that will love our country and will work hard to maintain our country.
Okay, so that's the one that he had talked about in regards of borders. Now, let's hear what he had to say about inflation.
But in 12 months, my administration has driven core inflation down to the lowest level in more than 5 years. And in the last 3 months of 2025, it was down to 1.7%. Gasoline, which reached a peak of over $6 a gallon in some states under my predecessor, it was quite honestly a disaster, is now below $2.30 a gallon in most states, and in some places $1.99 a gallon. And when I visited the great state of Iowa just a few weeks ago, I even saw $1.85 a gallon for gasoline.
Okay. So, yeah. Inflation is really that low? I mean, I don't know. I don't see those prices inside of the grocery store, but then again, hey, maybe I'm looking at some things differently in regards of inflation and stuff, and I don't use a car that has gas, so that's not going to be something that I'm going to be able to address. Take a listen to this one. Trump says the State of the Union is strong. Take a listen to this.
We cut a record number of job-killing regulations, and in 1 year we have lifted 2.4 million Americans, a record, off of food stamps. And for all of these reasons, I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong.
So there you go. There's that one. So then Trump says the country is winning so much, people don't know what to do about it. Take a listen to this.
Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much.
I would like to know who are the people that are saying that. No, like, seriously, like, don't get me wrong. There are some good things. There are some bad things, with the administration. That's just kind of how it goes, regardless of the administration, on what the things that happen. So now take a listen to this. For some reason, now we go into the Olympics. So take a listen to this one.
And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud. The men's gold medal Olympic hockey team. Come on in.
Okay, and just so you know, that little sputtering that's going on with the microphone on their end, that's what we call a hot mic, and he is blowing the modulation because he's being so loud. And it happens to people when they get excited. Don't get me wrong in regards to what we're talking about. So that's why it sounds so much like shit. What's going on? So here's the next one. Trump says that one of the members of the men's Olympic team, take a listen to this, will get the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
But I just want to tell you that the members of this great hockey squad will be very happy to hear, based on their vote and my vote, and in this case my vote was more important, that I will soon be presenting Connor with our highest civilian honor, which we will be given and which has been given to many athletes over the years. But when I say many, not too many, like 12, it's called the highest civilian honor in our country, the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Okay, so there you go. So the Presidential Medal of Freedom going on. Okay, so sit back, relax, because this is going to be the long one. Here he's talking about the Supreme Court's rejecting his tariffs. So, like I said, sit back, relax, because it's a long one.
I used these tariffs, took in hundreds of billions of dollars to make great deals for our country, both economically and on a national security basis. Everything was working well. Countries that were ripping us off for decades are now paying us hundreds of billions of dollars. They were ripping us so badly, you all know that. Everybody knows it. Even the Democrats know it. They just don't want to say it. And yet these countries are now happy, and so are we. We made deals. The deals are all done. And they're happy. They're not making money like they used to, but we're making a lot of money. There was no inflation, tremendous growth. And the big story was how Donald Trump called the economy correctly, and 22 Nobel Prize winners in economics didn't. They got it totally wrong. They got it really wrong. And then just 4 days ago, an unfortunate ruling from the United States Supreme Court. It just came down. It came down. Very unfortunate ruling. But the good news is that almost all countries and corporations want to keep the deal that they already made. Right, Scott? Knowing that the legal power that I, as president, have to make a new deal could be far worse for them, and therefore they will continue to work along the same successful path that we had negotiated before the Supreme Court's unfortunate involvement. So despite the disappointing ruling, these powerful country-saving, it's saving our country, the kind of money we're taking in, peace-protecting. Many of the wars I settled was because of the threat of tariffs. I wouldn't have been able to settle them without. Will remain in place under fully approved and tested alternative legal statutes. And they have been tested for a long time. They're a little more complex, but they're actually probably better, leading to a solution that will be even stronger than before. Congressional action will not be necessary. It's already time-tested and approved. And as time goes by, I believe the tariffs paid for by foreign countries will, like in the past, substantially replace the modern-day system of income tax, taking a great financial burden off the people that I love.
Okay, so what do you think there? I'm just asking the question because a lot of people have been a little bit hesitant about that right there. $190 billion, if I remember correctly, has been what has been done, or that has been charged to the American people, depending on where the source is that you get the information from. And that's the problem with information as of late. You have to do a lot, and do I reference this again, a lot of vetting to find where exactly it's going on. And that is why journalistic integrity plays a big factor, because you need to make sure that the information is vetted properly before you proceed forward in telling people. Like, I mean, I think Denzel Washington summed it up years ago the best way, and believe me, I'm definitely paraphrasing. Just because you're the first to report doesn't mean that you're accurate in reporting it. And that's the problem sometimes with some of this. So what do you think here? What do you think about the tariff stuff? I mean, that is a 2 minute and 25 second clip. in regards of him talking about this. So let's continue because I don't want to interfere with our main story. He's going to talk right now about the cost of things, including eggs, beef, and etc. Take a listen to this.
Our policies are rapidly ending them. We are doing really well. Those prices are plummeting downward. The price of eggs is down 60%. Madam Secretary, thank you. The cost of chicken, butter, fruit, hotels, automobiles, rent is lower today than when I took office by a lot. And even beef, which was very high, is starting to come down significantly. Just hold on a little while. We're getting it down. And soon you will see numbers that few people would think were possible to achieve just a short time ago. Nobody can believe when they see the kind of numbers, and especially energy. When they see energy going down to numbers like that, they cannot believe it.
Okay, so energy powers or energy prices are going down. Do you feel a cost differential inside of the grocery store was probably where that's going to lean heavily in regards of what's going on there? Okay, so Trump also announces that J.D. Vance will lead the war on fraud. Let's take a listen to this.
But when it comes to the corruption that is plundering, it's plundering America. There's been no more stunning example than Minnesota, where members of the Somali community have pillaged an estimated $19 billion from the American taxpayer. Oh, we have all the information. And in actuality, the number is much higher than that. And California, Massachusetts, Maine, and many other states are even worse. This is the kind of corruption that shreds the fabric of a nation, and we are working on it like you wouldn't believe. So tonight, although started 4 months ago, I am officially announcing the war on fraud to be led by our great Vice President J.D. Vance. We'll get it done. And if we're able to find enough of that fraud, we will actually have a balanced budget overnight. It'll go very quickly.
Okay, so a balanced budget overnight. What do you think? Do you think that the possibilities of that is actually true? I'm just asking. So what do you think here? Okay, so let's continue. Democrats yell at Trump after he slams them. So take a listen to this.
Isn't that a shame? You should be ashamed of yourself not standing up. You should be ashamed of yourself. That is why I'm also asking you to end deadly sanctuary cities that protect the criminals and enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country, they're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
Okay, so there you go. That's what he had to say there. Then Trump on voter ID. Take a listen to this.
We're unpermitted persons from voting in our sacred American elections. The cheating is rampant in our elections. It's rampant. It's very simple. All voters must show voter ID. All voters must show proof of citizenship in order to vote. And no more crooked mail-in ballots except for illness, disability, military, or travel.
Okay, so there you go. There's that portion. Let's continue talking a little bit. Trump slams the Democrats for not standing up, and he calls them crazy. Take a listen to this.
Look, nobody stands up. These people are crazy. I'm telling you. They're crazy. Amazing. Boy, oh boy. We're lucky we have a country. With people like this, Democrats are destroying our country, but we've stopped it just in the nick of time, didn't we?
Okay, so there's that one, and let's do this. Trump mentions Erica Kirk, who was in the audience. Take a listen.
My great friend, Charlie Kirk, a great guy, great man. So last year, Charlie was violently murdered by an assassin and martyred, really martyred for his beliefs. His wonderful wife, Erica, is with us tonight. Erica, please stand. Thank you, Erica. been through a lot. In Charlie's memory, we must all come together to reaffirm that America is one nation under God, and we must totally reject political violence of any kind.
Okay, so there you go. That pretty much sums up a good chunk of the speech. So the Democrats' response to the State of the Union was delivered by Virginia's governor, Abigail. So take a listen to this real quick.
Because since this president took office last year, his reckless trade policies have forced American families to pay more than $1,700 each in tariff costs. Small businesses have suffered, farmers have suffered, some losing entire markets. Everyday Americans are paying the price. And even though the Supreme Court struck these tariffs down 4 days ago, the damage to us, the American people, has already been done.
Okay, so there you go. There's that. Also, Abigail on Trump lying and distracting during his speech. Take a listen to this.
In his speech tonight, the president did what he always does. He lied, he scapegoated, and he distracted. And he offered no real solutions to our nation's pressing challenges, so many of which he is actively making worse. He tries to divide us. He tries to enrage us, to pit us against one another, neighbor against neighbor.
Okay, so there's that. And then Abigail wraps up her response with this.
But he also encouraged us, all Americans, to unite in a common cause, to move this nation forward. That is our charge once more, and that is what we are seeing across the country. It is deeply American and patriotic to do so, and it is how we ensure that the state of our union remains strong, not just this year, but for the next 250 years as well, because we, the people, have the power to make change, the power to stand up for what is right, the power to demand more of our nation. May God bless the Commonwealth of Virginia, and may God bless the United States of America.
Okay, so there you go. There was the longest State of the Union in history, and then the response from the Democrats in regards of what's going on. Do you want to hear the next portion? That definitely puts us at the 32-minute mark. So do you want to know what's going to happen now? Do you want to know? No, like seriously, do you want to know what's going to happen now? We're going to have to, because of time constraints, go into our main story if we're going to try to keep it realistic in what we're trying to do, of course. Duh. So let's go ahead and get into our main story right now.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so main story time, no doubt about that, as we are talking. So, all right, let's get into it. And this is the main story right here for the Rated R Safety Show. And this is episode 1302. I'm only mentioning numbers this week as we hit the 1300 mark. That's the only reason. So let's ask you a question, because I think that this is going to be important. Have you ever sat in a morning operational meeting, looked up at the PowerPoint slide that the executives are presenting, and wondered if they are even work for the same company? Huh, sounds a little bit familiar after that little show. You know exactly the slide that I'm talking about. It's that dashboard. It's the scorecard. It's all those lagging and leading indicators perfectly aligned in a neat little grid. The TRIR is down. The daily observation quotas have been met. The training completion rate is at 99%. And everything on that slide is highlighted in bright, beautiful corporate green. Yeah, the beautiful corporate green. The presenter stands up and adjusts his tie and says, look at this, folks. We are doing a great job. The system is working. But when you walk out of that air conditioning conference room, you're about to walk down into the operational floor and down to the blue line. And what do you see? You see a crew that just got mandated to work the third double shift of the week because staffing is too lean. You see a critical piece of equipment that's being held together by zip ties and a sheer of willpower because the maintenance work order has been sitting in a backlog for 6 months. You see the production schedule that is mathematically impossible to hit unless the workers take 3 different shortcuts that violate every manual sitting in the supervisor's desk. In the boardroom, the spreadsheet says everything is perfecto. But down in the dirt, the system is bleeding. Philip K. Dick spent his entire life writing about fabricated realities, and he wrote about simulations built on powerful forces to keep people asleep, to keep them compliant, to keep them from seeing the actual truth in their environment. Well, I'm here to tell you that corporate bureaucracy has built the ultimate simulation. It's called the spreadsheet simulation. The system doesn't actually want you to know what's broken on the floor. It wants the comfort of the green cell on the screen. Because the spreadsheet is green, the executives can sleep at night. If the spreadsheet is green, the board of directors is happy. They have mapped out the work perfectly. But as we talk about all the time on this show, the map is not the territory. Let's just be realistic. When we prioritize the map over the reality of the blue line, you get the mutation. The work is imagined drifts so far from the work is done that your people are essentially operating in the dark. And worse, they are forced to lie to you just to keep the simulation running. They fill out the daily observation card because they've observed anything meaningful, but because they have a quota to hit by Friday at 5 p.m. Let's be realistic here. Seriously. My computer hates me today. And think about the physics of what you're doing here. Seriously. Thomas Campbell, because we're going to talk about him for a moment, talks about entropy. In any system with high entropy, noise, chaos, and lack of useful information, low entropy is ordered, truth, and pure signal, because that's the only way we can call it here. That's a lie. Those spreadsheets are definition of high entropy noise. They force the worker to take their eyes off the actual physical hazards and focus on feeding the administrative beast. It is a distraction. It is static. It replaces human presence with data. Think about it. Think about it for a moment. So how do we survive the spreadsheet simulation? How do we keep our people alive when the corporate construct is demanding that we just check the box? We have to look to Bruce Lee for a moment, because I'm just going to use him as an example. Bruce Lee looked at traditional martial arts and realized that all those perfectly choreographed forms and routines were useless in real street fights. The opponent isn't going to step in perfectly into your block. The opponent is going to throw a wild haymaker, and if you're rigid, if you are stuck in a form, you get knocked out. He said that you have to hack away the unessential, and you have to be like water. A corporate safety manual is dead. Rigid form, a spreadsheet is dead, rigid form. They cannot react. They cannot adapt to a sudden pressure change or a missing tool or a miscommunication between night shift and day shift. The only thing that can adapt to reality is the human being on the blue line. We have to let people be like water. We have to stop punishing them when they deviate from the dead form to survive the actual hazard. When a worker stops a job and says, hey, the manual says to do it this way, but if I do it that today, I'm going to lose my hand. That is not a deviation. That is a low entropy signal. That is a human being intercepting reality. If we want actual change in the industry, we have to stop trying to turn spreadsheets green. We need to have the guts to let it turn red. Yeah, I said that. Let it turn red. The ugly, R-rated reality, the job bubble up to the surface. When the executive asks, why are the numbers off? You look at them in the eye and say, because we stopped performing for the dashboard and we started listening to the blue line. Let the system have its simulation. We are going to stay out there in the dirt. We are going to hack away the administration noise. Discard the unessential and protect the signal. But, I mean, that's the thing that we have to talk about, because at the end of the day, that is what's going to lead us forward in regards of what we have going on. If you don't look around at all of the stuff that is happening, we are going to be in trouble in the long run. Sometimes it doesn't need to be green. It just needs to be right.
What? What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with the viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
You ever hit the wall, burnout, stressed, or just feeling that everything is piling up and thought, yeah, I probably need to talk to someone? The problem is finding the therapist who actually takes your insurance feels impossible at times. That's where Rula comes in. Rula is a healthcare company that makes mental health care easy to access and actually affordable. They partner with over 100 insurance plans, so the average copay is about $15 a session, sometimes even less. With Rula, you get matched with the right therapist for you, not just whoever's available. Their network has over 15,000 licensed professionals, and you can book an appointment as soon as tomorrow. No wait list, no frustrations, just therapy that works with your schedule and your insurance. Thousands of people are already using Rula to get affordable, high-quality therapy that actually covered by insurance. Visit Rula.com/safetyfm to get started. After you sign up, you'll be asked how you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know that we sent you there. That's RULA.com/safetyfm. You deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget. Go to Rula.com/safetyfm right now to get started. That's RULA.com/safetyfm because you deserve mental health care that works with you, not against your budget.
What if everything we thought we knew about safety was just interference? From the host of the Rated R Safety Show and the founder of Safety FM comes the complete signal transmission trilogy, now available in one powerful edition. Safety, in my opinion, the book that started the conversation. Safety Mutation, where the boundaries of culture, systems, and belief begin to break. And now, Safety Transmission, the final piece of the signal. For the first time, all three books are together in one volume. The Signal Transmission Trilogy, Complete Edition. This isn't just about compliance. It's about consciousness. It's about decoding the way we think, lead, and live, inside and outside the system. Whether you've been following the signal since the beginning or you're just now tuning in, this is the version to own. Search Signal Trilogy on Amazon or visit safetyfm.com to get your copy now.
Hey there, Jay Allen here with Safety FM, where we just don't talk about safety, we live it. And when it comes to safeguarding your future, there's no better partner than Acorns. This part of the show has been brought to you by Acorns and a powerful tool that makes saving and investing easier than ever. We all know that investing can feel overwhelming, especially with busy lives and no time to dive into the nitty-gritty of financial markets, but Acorns changes the game. With Acorns, you don't need to be a financial expert or have a hefty sum of money to get started. In fact, Acorns lets you begin with just spare change. All about those small steps, small investments today that can build into something much bigger over time. Acorns recommends that the expert build portfolio designed to fit financial goals. Then it does the heavy lifting for you by automatically investing your money. It's like having a financial advisor in your pocket working around the clock to help your money grow. So why wait? Head over to acorns.com/safetyfm or download the Acorns app and take that first step towards securing your future today. Remember, in the world of safety and investing, small actions today can lead to mighty outcomes tomorrow. Paid non-client endorsement. Compensation provides an incentive to positively promote Acorns. Investing involves risk. Acorns Advisors, LLC, and SEC registered investment advisors. View important disclosures at acorn.com/safetyfm. At Safety FM, we're all about making smart decisions on the job and in life. So take control of your financial future. This is Jay Allen reminding you to stay safe, stay smart, and invest in your tomorrow.
Jay Allen in the morning, weekdays on Radio Big.
Let's Start using cutting-edge warp-speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Hello. Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
The monster is living inside. Don't be so scared of the monster underneath.
Okay, here we are. 45 minutes past the top of the hour. I know. I got survivalism. This song right here, it's called The Monster by Heather Evans. Songs readily available on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Pandora. We would like to thank Heather Evans for allowing us to play The Monster here. I would say give it a little streamer-eamer action. Let us know what you think in the long run. So a lot of stuff going on inside of the world of the multiverse. So there you go. I told you it was going to feel very heavily political today in regard to the stuff that's going on. No doubt there. So anyways, let's do this real quick. If you do not mind, let's talk real quick about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime. And that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. And we want you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to TWLOHA.com. That's TWLOHA.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Once you get there, you're going to see all kinds of information related to addiction, depression, anxiety, eating disorders, self-injury, suicide, trauma, and grief support, just to name a few. That's TWLOHA.com, To Write Love on Her Arms. So there you go. I'm going to tell you, go there. It can change your life, or it could help you in changing someone else's life depending on the need. So there you go. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about things going on inside of the world of the multiverse. I didn't mention this, but this came out yesterday. But yesterday, Savannah Gundry released a new video, and she said that her family is offering a $1 million reward.
If this is what is to be, then we will accept it. But we need to know where she is. We need her to come home. For that reason, we are offering a family reward of up to $1 million for any information that leads us to her recovery. All of the information about this reward and the details is in the caption below. You can call the 1-800-TIP line. You can be anonymous if you want. Someone out there knows something that can bring her home. Somebody knows. And we are begging you to please come forward now.
Okay, so that happened. She released that video yesterday. So think about this in regards of probably being a good Samaritan. If you know something, you should probably say something. But here's the catch. The $1 million that's there is what's being referenced. But if you count in the $100,000 that the FBI is offering as a reward as well, I'm just trying to do simple math here. That's $1.1 million. That's $1.1 million that they're offering in total. So, that's a pretty big number. That's life-changing money for sure. Or, as I've heard somebody else say, generational wealth, depending on what your spending habits are, of course. So there you go. I don't know. It is such a weird circumstance. And I don't want to put on my my hat here in regards of watching HLN at night and Forensic Files and tell you exactly what my opinion are is in regards of the stuff that I've seen on Forensic Files, because I will tell you that I have been a avid watcher of that for quite some time. But normally, when you start looking at stuff this length of time in regards of how long this is taking, unfortunately, you don't know how the outcome is going to be. Normally, most recoveries, they try to see if they are able to get the person within the first 48 hours. And as you are aware, we are surely past further than that. I know, not being the bearer of good news as we are talking here. I mean, no doubt, but just some stuff to think about as we are talking. So keep that in mind as we're moving forward. And let's do this. Let's bring in some John Smalls. He'll have something a lot more positive to talk about, apparently, than I will. So here we are on our Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Here's some John Smalls with the Motivation Minute.
Brought to you by JaceCaseMedical.com. Today's quote was submitted by Ross. Anthony de Saint-Exupéry said, "What makes the desert beautiful is somewhere it hides a well." Okay, I'm baffled by what this one means. I'm not going to lie, I almost skipped it, but I appreciate Ross sending it over, so here we go. I think there's a well to quench their thirst? I don't know. Just wait till they realize there are wells all over the place, in areas where it's not hot and dry and awful. I like that they were able to see the silver lining, though. Sometimes we look at things and we only see the negative. It is a real gift to see the bright side of things. I always try to see the best in all things, all the time. I do fall short often. I wish I could say that I'm always happy and cheerful. I'd like to be, but sometimes I'm not happy. I think I'm going to start looking for that well in the desert.
The Motivation Minute.
This has been the Motivation Minute. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted at motivationminute.org.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
Describe sheltering in place as...
A powerful winter storm is blasting the Northeast with fierce wind, heavy snow, and whiteout conditions that have shut down travel.
Governors across the region have declared states of emergency and warned millions of people to stay off the roads. Blizzard warnings stretch from Maryland to Maine, with New York City under its first such alert in nearly a decade. Forecasters say some areas could see 1 to 2 feet of snow, with localized higher totals as bands stall. Strong winds are also knocking out power. Liam White reporting.
Mexico is on edge after the army killed El Mencho, the powerful leader of the Jalisco New Generation cartel.
Officials say Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes was fatally wounded during a military raid in Jalisco and died while being flown for treatment. His death is being described as one of the most significant blows against a Mexican cartel in years. In response, authorities report roadblocks, arson attacks, and sporadic gunfire across multiple western states. Benjamin Wright reporting.
Global investors are reacting nervously as President Trump pushes ahead with new import tariffs.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell sharply Monday, dropping nearly 800 points by midday as traders weighed the impact of higher duties. The slide followed a Supreme Court ruling that struck down most of Trump's earlier emergency tariffs, prompting the White House to quickly roll out a new 15% global levy. Lawrence Keller reporting.
This is the latest news headlines.
The U.S. government is grappling with the fallout from a partial shutdown that has started to disrupt travel programs.
Officials say the funding lapse is affecting parts of the Homeland Security Department, including services tied to Global Entry and other trusted traveler systems. Some travelers have reported confusion over whether applications and renewals will be delayed or temporarily halted. Kyle Norris reporting.
Across Mexico's tourist zones, American visitors are stranded in hotels and airports as cartel violence flares following the killing of El Mencho.
U.S. tourists describe sheltering in place as gunmen set up roadblocks, torched vehicles, and clashed with security forces in several resort areas. Mexican authorities say the unrest is tied directly to the operation that took down the Jalisco New Generation cartel leader. Gary Beck reporting.
New polling shows many Americans disapprove of President Trump's job performance.
A recent survey highlighted in national newscasts finds a majority of respondents unhappy with how the president is handling his duties. The numbers emerge as the administration faces questions questions over its approach to trade, a partial government shutdown, and rising economic anxiety. At the same time, Trump's national security team is considering options for a limited military strike on Iran. Kevin Sanders reporting.
And that's the latest news headlines with Alan Edwards.
You ever wish that Facebook had a suck it button? If you're rocking with us while working from home, we have one thing to say to you. Dude, nice work, PJs.
So as you can see, we've hit our targeted third quarter numbers as well.
Bill.
What?
Really love your Iron Man onesie.
Thank you.
Rocking your workday, whatever it looks like.
Okay, 54 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday. Let's talk about some things that happened back on this date. As I take a look around, back in 1963, the Beatles released their number one single, Please Please Me. That happened back then. Also in 1989, the Dallas Cowboys fire Tom Landry after a 29-year career. Let's see, 1998, Pamela Lee has husband Tommy Lee arrested on battery charges. And also in 2017, Bill Paxton died. That all happened back on this date. If you take a look around, let's talk about some birthdays going on today. Veronica Webb turned 61. Tia Leone turns 60. Carrot Top turns 59. Sean Astin, 55. Chelsea Handler turns 51. And Rashida Jones turns 50. So there you go. That's some birthdays going on today before we forget. And let's talk about some other things that are going on inside of the world. Walt Disney World is getting less magical as your wallet. For your wallet in 2026, a one-day ticket to the Magic Kingdom tops $200 for the first time ever. Peak December days, $217.26 for adults with tax. Want you a park hop? That's will jump you to $301.40. Even the cheap September days, $158.69, $10 more than last year. Other parks saw a $5 bump too. A family of four going over to the holidays is staring at $869 just to walk in, or $1,205 just to want to park hopper option. For perspective, in 2016, the same one-day ticket was $112 to $132. So there you go. It's not Magic Kingdom. It's Mortgage Kingdom. For $217, Cinderella better be doing my taxes. It's a small world, especially after you spend your whole savings. No pixie dust there. That's 401k evaporating. In a family of four, you don't need a stroller. You need a loan officer. So some things to think about. Okay, take a listen to this. A 3-judge federal panel rejected the effort by Utah Republicans to overturn the state newly court-ordered congressional map. The judges ruled that it's too late in the election cycle to redraw district lines, pointing to a Purcell principle. The legal standard says that the federal courts should avoid making changes to voting rules close to the election to prevent confusion to voters and officials. So there you go. Some stuff going on as we are talking. Okay, so with that being said, that's going to sum up our time together. Thank you for hanging out with me on this lovely Whip 'em Out Wednesday. At the top of the hour, we'll be going over to radiobig.fm if you want to come and hang out with me for the next couple hours or so. If not, you can stay right here on Safety FM and hang out with the likes of Sheldon Primus as he talks about the world of safety consulting. Yeah, because that's kind of what he does. That's the guy. That's the go-to guy. If I can leave you with some words of wisdom, I love to leave you with this. Forgive yourself for not knowing earlier what only time could teach. And if I could give you some advice for today, try this. To cure hiccups, pant like a dog. No, seriously, pant like a dog. That will do the trick for you when it's all said and done. Anyways, I know who you are. You know who I am. Love you, mean it, and goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are solely those of the host and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Safety FM and or Radio Big. The content discussed, including examples of analysis, is provided for illustrative purposes only. It should not be applied as the sole solution in real-world scenarios. as it is based on limited and dated open source information. Any assumptions made during this broadcast, podcast, or radio show are not reflective of Safety FM and or Radio Big. No portion of this broadcast, podcast, or radio show may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of Safety FM and or Radio Big. For permission requests, please contact Safety FM or Radio Big directly.
The monster is living inside. The monster is living inside. Run as fast as you can. You can't outrun the things in your head.